trip on sailing vessel Malolo, I wanted to talk for a few minutes about our diesel engine. It's the first diesel engine that I've ever owned and operated on a regular basis. It's a 3-cylinder Yanmar, 40 horsepower, and it only had 1,600 hours on it when we bought it. We have subsequently put about 250 hours on it. 1851 right now. There were things I knew about diesel engines, and so when we had trouble with it, I knew that fuel could be a problem. It turned out it was a fuel filter that was blocked. Changed the fuel filter, and the engine started running great. So we always knock on wood when things are going well. That's not wood. We knock on anything just to say things are going well and we're happy about it. This diesel engine only burns about 1 gallon of fuel per hour, even at full throttle, or cruising speed, I should say. Full throttle might be 3,800 RPM. Right now we're going about 2,800 RPM because we are in the Dismal Swamp Canal. We just crossed from North Carolina into Virginia. And at 2,800 RPM with no current, we're getting 6.9 miles per hour. That's probably about 5.5 knots. Where's my knot meter? Knot meter is stuck right now. But, the Yanmar diesel, I have a few things that I do religiously, like I always check the oil the morning before we start, and I always check when I check the oil. I also inspect the bilge behind the engine, make sure there's no extra water, and I check the hose clamps. We had a hose clamp come loose while we were underway and sprayed seawater all over the inside of the engine compartment. It was quite a scary day. So I checked those hose clamps to make sure they haven't moved or come loose. The cooling water actually uses raw water or seawater to go through a heat exchanger to cool the engine. So the engine has antifreeze like your car does. The engine cooling water also heats water for hot domestic hot water, so we can get hot showers because we get hot water off our engine. I think I said 3-cylinder. Of course, all diesel engines are fuel injected, high pressure fuel injected. It has 2 fuel filters, and one of them was fogged in the past. It takes about 5 quarts of motor oil, and then there's also oil in the transmission, which it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. We're enjoying the Dismal Swamp Canal. There's also oil in the transmission, which is just a forward and reverse transmission with a gearbox. It reduces engine speed by, I think, 2.5 times, like 2.64 to 1. So the propeller doesn't turn quite as fast as the engine. What I just look for, I'm listening for the cooling water. When the engine's running, there's a little splash, a regular splash of cooling water that comes out with the exhaust. The day that I stopped hearing that, luckily I was tuned in enough to know that when I didn't hear that splash, something was wrong. And what was wrong was that the cooling water was spraying around the inside of the engine compartment instead of coming out with the exhaust. Okay. Do you have any questions about the Yanmar diesel? Anything I forgot to say?
I think you got it.
It doesn't have an air filter. That kind of bugs me, but it does have air intake, which is inside the engine compartment. It just gets intake air through 2 little vents in the top. That's all for now on Yanmar diesel. Sailing vessel Malolo, out. Recording. It's 3:20 p.m. and we're outside of the Deep Creek Bridge and Lock in Deep Creek, Virginia. And this is what I think would be very civilized, is having coffee while waiting for the bridge tender. Here we go. French press coffee. I've already had salted peanuts. French press coffee at the lock. That's good to the last drop. Sailing vessel Malolo. Trying to get a picture of the water spraying, pushing up on his bow.